All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be located. Thank you for taking the time to join Inhand Network's webinar announcing the release of our latest routers, one of our latest routers, the CR202-Lite. My name is Mark Boyd. I am the product manager for our business internet enterprise devices and solutions. We have a pretty exciting agenda to cover today, beginning with the highlight of this webinar, which is the showcasing of our CR202-Lite, its features and its use cases. We will also be presenting some of our latest releases, product releases, and also giving you a sneak peek into some of our upcoming additions to our business internet and enterprise portfolio as well. Lastly, we will also reserve some time at the end, of course, for a Q&A session for any questions that are not answered in the chat. All right, without further ado, and to kick things off, introducing our CR202-Lite. So this is our latest addition to our routers with portability in mind for the design. At only 4.7 inches long and a rectangular format, as you can see, also with foldable antennas, the CR202-Lite can be easily stored in any type of travel bag or purse. Embedded in the CR202-Lite is the Cat6 modem, which you can see there on the left. This supports and is compatible with all the major carriers' 4G networks. And with this modem, you can reach download and upload speeds of up to 350 megabits per second, respectively. It also has built-in Wi-Fi and 2 Ethernet ports. So the users of this device have the flexibility to connect essentially devices both wirelessly and physically. And like the majority of our routers, this is also a dual SIM device, and it features one physical SIM, and one of the other SIMs is actually an eSIM built into the device itself, which does provide cellular failover capabilities between carriers or even different data plans. The CR202-Lite, like our other routers in our 4G portfolio, is also able to be managed, monitored, and controlled, also updated on the configuration and firmware at no additional cost through our device management platform. Once again, the device management platform is a free service and cloud management plan that we provide, or platform that we provide for all of our users for the lifetime of the device. So although this device, as I mentioned, can provide a wireless hotspot and it's designed with portability in mind, it is important to take note that it is actually a full router and not just a hotspot. So with that being said, it definitely provides more features, functionality, and fixed network use cases compared to a hotspot as well. The advanced security capabilities you see on the right is or are one such feature with a built-in firewall, allowing the management and control over the traffic through your network. And before we dive into some of the common applications and use cases for this device, one of the last and probably one of the most important features of the device itself to highlight is its backup battery. So the CR202-Lite, it comes with a removable 3000 milliamp hour battery, which can provide up to 8+ hours of working time. The battery can be used as the primary power source for the router, or it can also be used as the backup power source if there's ever, for example, a power failure when connected with the included power supply that we include in the device accessory kit. The battery, it can also be charged when in use, and the router itself includes built-in capabilities to prevent the battery from ever overcharging. We also have additional batteries available for purchase, so if somebody is on the road without a reliable or dedicated power source, they could easily swap in another one to provide even more working hours while on the go or without access to that power source. So now let's discuss some applicable use cases and applications that we're seeing the CR202-Lite is optimal for. To begin, the CR202-Lite is the perfect device for a variety of mobile applications. As I mentioned, portability was the intention as part of the design, and also individuals on the go or without an available power source, or possibly even reliable internet access. So not only is it a great solution for somebody without a reliable internet source, but it is, as mentioned, also a great device for fixed connectivity applications as well. So to highlight a few of the applications shown here, both mobile and for fixed connectivity, starting with obviously one of the most prevalent use cases, which is connectivity on the go. So this can include remote work, anyone traveling for business, mobile retails, for example, and even outdoor connectivity for events and family outings. Either for the work or the personal travel, there's never essentially a guarantee you always have that access to an available power source, or that using your phone hotspot, possibly for example, will provide a reliable or stable connection in the area or location you might be in at the time. So utilizing the CR202 with, as mentioned, its dual SIM capabilities, you also have the ability to also access multiple carrier connections on one device, allowing for a more reliable and redundant connectivity, no matter where that location once again may be. So utilizing an airport for an environment example, with the CR202 Lite have its own power source, no longer essentially need to worry about fighting for an outlet near your terminal or your gate, and can save your phone battery for the flight. So going back to its design with its foldable antennas and the small form factor that I mentioned, can easily be stored in any carry-on case, bag, purse, laptop case, etc. So moving on to education. In this day and age, compared to the not so distant past, we now have access to most information all through the internet and now even in the palm of our hands. So as the tools and resources to support the students in their educational development move more and more to digital formats, the need for reliable internet connectivity becomes less and less essentially of an option, more of a requirement. So not even just for the students, but also for the educators or anybody involved in the educational field, also needs to have the reliable connectivity as well, especially in rural areas. So the CR202 Lite, it can provide that reliable connectivity for students and educators, whether they're in the classroom, if it's virtual learning, even on the bus or the library, outside in the field. The CR202 is able to provide that stable and reliable connection with a dedicated power source. And a related note, which will be announced in more detail and cover more detail at a later point by InHand, is that the CR202 Lite and also a good portion of our other devices were recently approved for 100% funding through the E-rate program. So with that, in K through 12 applications, as I mentioned, schools, libraries, buses, connectivity, there's additional essentially avenue for funding without the schools or districts having to spend any part of their budget on any hardware purchases for connectivity. One last industry to highlight where we're actually seeing a lot of demand for the CR202 Lite is in hospitals and outpatient care settings. So just like education, more and more of the monitoring equipment and machines within hospitals and outpatient environments depend on connectivity and are more connected to report the patient's statuses, conditions, even locations. So a lot of this equipment nowadays is provided, or a good chunk of the equipment that's provided is not provided directly by the hospitals, for example, could be provided by third parties and managed and monitored by these outside parties as well. And the availability and reliability of connectivity from the hospitals, for example, and using their network may not ever always essentially be provided. And in some cases, it is the responsibility of these machine monitoring devices for them to provide the connectivity for the devices themselves. So there's often times where patients and connected machines are moved from different facilities or from in to outside of the hospital, or even vice versa, from outside to emergency services inside the hospital. And once again, having a backup battery source allows this equipment to be easily transported within these hospital areas or for inpatient to outpatient, for example, without disruption in the connection, being able to report those different metrics from the patients themselves. So that about covers the CR202 Lite and its most important features to highlight and some of its most applicable use cases and applications that we've come across. But before we move on to the next item on the agenda, which is an overview of some of our recently released products in the business internet and enterprise portfolio and a sneak peek into some upcoming devices coming Q1 as well. For any pricing information, availability, additional questions, or any support, essentially, Anyhand can provide you with this device or any other devices or solutions in our portfolio. Please never hesitate to reach out to your associated Anyhand representative or sales director, or contact us directly at inhand.com for any additional support. All right, so moving on to the latest additions and changes to our business internet enterprise portfolio. So first up is one of the latest available additions to our ER series, the ER605. Like our other ER devices, for those who are familiar with this series, it features a fully industrial design with both physical and wireless connectivity interfaces. It now has Wi-Fi. It comes with Wi-Fi 6 and a relatively high max throughput. So this router we are seeing to be, one of the low-cost ideal solutions for customers requiring a 4G cellular failover solution, but still having the performance capabilities to also manage their local network and connected devices as the primary network router as well. So great device and solution for a variety of small business to mid-size and even some enterprise level customers and businesses. This device, once again, some of you who are familiar with our portfolio know the difference between our device manager and InCloud. This is one of our 4G routers that is also manageable and monitorable through our InCloud platform. All right, next up is not a new device, but a model upgrade in our ER series. Also a new device, I guess. Which is the ERA15. So the ERA15, once again, like all of our other devices in our ER series, is an enterprise grade router, which is fully industrial. And when it becomes available, will be replacing our ER805 model. So compared to the ER5, you will definitely see some significant changes with the components used in the design, which will provide a much higher performance and reliable device for the connectivity. To give you the quick side-by-side comparison, the ERA15 will include, one of the main features to highlight is the upgraded chipset, which will provide a drastic jump on the reliability of the cellular connection, also the theoretical max download and upload speeds, and also the real world speeds that you'll see from the cellular connection. As you can see in the side-by-side, there's also a significant increase from the 805 to the 815 on the max throughput of the router. And to support this device performance capabilities and primary connectivity, we have also upgraded the Ethernet port, one of them for the WAN port at least, to include the 2.5 gigabits per second WAN port instead of a standard 1 gigabit WAN port, which will allow the dedicated ISPs to be used as a stronger WAN or internet connection. This device, also, once again, compared to the 805, will also be adding an eSIM, but will still have the 2 physical SIM card slots available to use. And lastly, we have also upgraded this device from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. So a lot more stability, higher upload download speeds through that access point connection, farther coverage, and more connected users you'll be able to get. Improvements paired once again with the monitoring and management capabilities through our InCloud platform. Our ER800 series becomes even more of the ideal router solution or option to act as the primary internet device and router from small, mid-size, and of course, enterprise businesses. Also coming soon as a device upgrade model of our FWA02 is the FWA12. So as far as hardware changes go, not as many on the design or the interfaces compared to the jump from 805 to 815. The max throughput of the Wi-Fi 6 has increased a bit, but the main difference between this device and our FWA02, those familiar with the different SKU options we have know that for the FWA02, we have 2 SKUs, depending on which carrier you require for the cellular connection. With this device, we are moving to 1 SKU. All the major carriers will be certified for, and their network bands and network supported. Once again, this device is also going to have an upgraded chipset. So outside of going from multiple SKUs to 1 SKU, this device compared to the FWO2 you'll see a lot higher performance or greater performance from the upload download speeds, reliability, and stability from the cellular connection you're receiving from the carriers. All right. So last up in our coming soon devices in our business internet and enterprise portfolio um, is our NCPE. So this device was designed with affordability and ease of use in mind, without having to sacrifice performance and reliability once again. So it features two Ethernet ports, one of which is a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, and there is also a 1 gigabit Ethernet port. That first port is configurable as either a WAN or LAN port. So this device can also be used as cellular backup, connected to a primary ISP or existing network connection. Those familiar or maybe familiar with some of these other types of CPE routers from some of the carriers, some of the other competitors out there, and from our feedback and the market feedback we've heard and learned from our partners and customers, is that when using those devices, they come across a lot of hardware failures, having a lot of returns, slow cellular speeds, or essentially not having a lack of management and control over the device itself and its management and monitoring of the device. So we made sure to address all these concerns with this type of device, utilizing our years of experience in R&D and manufacturing to ensure that it's overall more reliable and still high performing device, as mentioned, compared to those existing other competitors' devices out there. It is indeed intended, though, since it is a 5G low cost router solution, for those more consumer grade to small business, maybe mid-sized businesses, for more of a ease of use type of router for their existing applications. So before we wrap it up here and close with a Q&A session, I wanted to also just showcase a couple of non-cellular devices in our portfolio, some of you who may not be familiar with, which in my opinion are always a great addition to at least offer or add to the network stack, being that it is also paired with an in-hand device. You can utilize and manage all your devices through one cloud platform, utilizing all in-hand. So first up is the ES620. So the ES620 comes with 24 PoE ports. There is also 8 combo ports, 4 of which are your standard WAN Ethernet ports. The other 4 are SFP. So 8 total, and you can use a combination at 4 at once. It is a rack mountable, fully industrial switch, network switch, and relatively compared to other standard switch pricing models out there with this type of interface set, very affordable device. And once again, even though this is a non-cellular device, it is a device that is manageable and configurable through, of course, locally, but also through in-cloud, our in-cloud management platform. And last up, so just that the ES620, of course, supports those fixed physical connections, but to support the wireless connections of your end devices, we also have available our EAP600, which is a Wi-Fi 6 access point. The access points are also highly affordable and powered via the included AC power supply, which we include in the kit, or it is also PoE powered or power Ethernet as well. So once again, along with the ES620, this EAP is also manageable both locally and through the our available in-cloud platform. All right, everyone. So once again, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join this webinar announcing our CR202-Lite. And as a reminder, for any pricing information, marketing materials, spec sheets, if you need sales support, technical support, or anything that in-hand can assist you with or provide you with, please never hesitate to reach out to your associate in-hand sales representative or representative in general, or you can contact us directly at inhand.com. And we would be happy to support you